You were told your depression is a chemical imbalance in your brain. I'm going to show you the 9 scientifically proven causes of depression and why only 2 of them are biological. This isn't about positive thinking or more antidepressants. This is about why an entire generation of men is suffering despite record levels of medication. By the end, you'll have a framework you can use today to understand what's really happening. And if you stay until the end, I'll reveal the one intervention that works faster than any pill on the market. Welcome back to Deeper Dudes. But first, let's talk about why you're feeling this way in the first place. You wake up exhausted, even though you slept 8 hours. You scroll through social media feeling worse with every swipe. You go to work at a job that feels meaningless, come home to an empty apartment, and wonder why nothing brings you joy anymore. Research shows that antidepressant use has increased by over 400% in the last 2 decades, yet depression and anxiety rates keep climbing. We're medicating more and suffering more at the same time. And here's what nobody tells you. You've been lied to about what depression actually is. The chemical imbalance theory, the idea that depression is just low serotonin that needs to be fixed with pills. That's what doctors told millions of us. I know because I lived it. When I was a teenager, my doctor said my pain was caused by a broken brain, prescribed me Paxil, and sent me on my way. I took the maximum legal dose for 13 years. And I still felt terrible. That failure, that realization that the story I'd been sold didn't match my experience. That's what drove journalist Johan Hari to spend 3 years traveling over 40,000 miles, interviewing leading researchers. What he found changes everything. Depression isn't a malfunction in a broken machine. It's a signal from a human being with unmet needs. And here's exactly what those needs are. The research identifies 9 causes of depression and anxiety. Only 2 are biological. The other 7 are about how we live. Loneliness, lack of meaningful work, disconnection from nature, disconnection from a hopeful future, trauma in your past, status anxiety, and a value system that trains you to seek happiness through money, status, and consumption instead of meaning and connection. Think about your life right now. How many of those 7 are you experiencing? For most men watching this, it's not 1 or 2. It's 5, 6, maybe all 7. You're isolated. Your work feels pointless. You haven't been in nature in months. You're scrolling Instagram, comparing your life to highlight reels. You're chasing promotions and paychecks, thinking that's what will finally make you happy. And when it doesn't work, when you still feel empty, you think something is wrong with you. What a load of crap. There's nothing wrong with you. Your depression is a rational response to the way you're living. And once you understand that, everything changes. Here's the story that makes this undeniable. A psychiatrist named Dr. Derek Summerfield was working in Cambodia when chemical antidepressants were first introduced there. He thought he was bringing modern medicine to a place that desperately needed it, but the local doctors told him they already had antidepressants. They told him about a rice farmer who stepped on a landmine, lost his leg, and became deeply depressed. Working in the rice fields with a prosthetic leg was agony. He was in physical pain every day, so the doctors and community got together and gave him a cow. With the cow, he became a dairy farmer. He didn't have to stand in water anymore. The source of his suffering was removed. Within weeks, his depression lifted. No pills, no therapy. They changed his life circumstances. Dr. Summerfield asked what they meant by calling the cow an antidepressant. The doctor said that cow was an antidepressant because it ended the suffering that was causing his depression. This isn't some alternative medicine story. This is the World Health Organization's position. Depression is often not a brain malfunction. It's a signal that your needs aren't being met. And when you meet those needs, the depression lifts. Now, does this mean medication never helps? No. For some people, especially those with the 2 biological causes, medication is life-saving. But for the vast majority of men suffering right now, pills are masking the signal instead of addressing the cause. You're depressed because you're lonely, because your work is meaningless, because you're disconnected from everything that makes life worth living, and no amount of serotonin is going to fix that. Small changes to how you live can rebuild your entire life. And once you understand the cause, the solution becomes clear. Before we go any further, I want to pause for something important. None of what we've been talking about matters if we don't have the energy and clarity to actually implement it. We all know what it feels like to wake up exhausted. No energy, poor focus, and zero motivation. We also know what it feels like when we get good, restful sleep, targeted therapy, and the right supplements. I've personally tested more things than you can imagine. I'm like your personal guinea pig. Everything I have listed in the description below is science-backed and extensively tested. And if you grab anything through my links, you'll be supporting this channel at zero cost to you. Thanks for taking a look. Now let's get back to it. If this is helping, please hit that like button so more men can find this when they need it most. And drop a comment. Which of the 9 causes resonates most with you? No judgment, just support. Here's the truth about depression that changes everything. Your brain is not broken. It's responding exactly as it should to a life that doesn't meet your needs. And the fastest way to prove this is to change your circumstances. In East London, a doctor named Sam Everington started doing something radical. Instead of just prescribing antidepressants, he began what's called social prescribing. He'd connect depressed patients not with therapists, but with groups of other isolated people working on projects together. One of his patients was a woman named Lisa Cunningham. She had been severely depressed and housebound for 7 years. Medications weren't working, therapy wasn't working. Dr. Everington prescribed her to join a group of people building a community garden. Lisa was skeptical. She didn't know anything about gardening. She didn't want to be around people. But she went. And something happened. She started showing up, the group started talking, they worked together on something that mattered. They built something real. And as Lisa put it in her own words, as the garden began to bloom, we began to bloom. Within months, her depression had significantly improved, not because of a pill, because she reconnected with people, because she had a purpose, because she was part of something larger than herself. This is dopamine from community, not from a prescription. And it works faster and more powerfully than most medications. The mechanism here is crucial. Human beings evolved in tribes. For hundreds of thousands of years, isolation meant death. Your brain is wired to feel terrible when you're alone because that kept your ancestors alive. Loneliness triggers the same threat response as physical danger. Your brain floods with cortisol. You feel anxious, hopeless, and stuck. And in the modern world, we're more isolated than any generation in human history. You can have 10,000 followers and 0 friends. You can live in a city of millions and speak to no one for days. Your depression isn't a mystery. It's your brain screaming that something essential is missing, and here's how to fix it. Step 1. Identify your unmet need. Go back to the 7 causes: loneliness, meaningless work, disconnection from nature, no hopeful future, past trauma, status anxiety, junk values. Which one is loudest for you right now? Not all of them. Just the one that's causing the most pain. Be honest. If you're lonely, admit it. If your job feels pointless, say it out loud. If you're chasing money and status, and it's making you miserable, name it. You can't solve a problem you won't acknowledge. Step 2. Take one small action to address that need. If it's loneliness, join one group, a jiu-jitsu gym, a hiking club, a volunteer organization. Somewhere you show up in person with the same people repeatedly. If it's meaningless work, find 1 hour a week to work on something that matters to you, a side project, a skill, something you care about. If it's disconnection from nature, commit to 20 minutes outside every day. No phone. Just you and the world. If it's junk values, the belief that your worth comes from your paycheck or your status, start measuring your day by different metrics. Did I help someone? Did I learn something? Did I create something? These are small steps, but they directly address the root cause. You're not masking the signal, you're changing the circumstances creating the signal. Step 3. Build it into your life for 30 days without stopping. Depression convinces you that nothing will work, that you're broken, that there's no point in trying. That voice is a liar. It's the signal trying to protect itself. You have to push through it. Commit to 30 days. Track it. Show up even when you don't want to. Especially when you don't want to. When I was at my lowest, I started going to a weekly men's group. I didn't want to talk. I didn't think it would help. But I kept showing up. And by week 4, I realized I'd laughed for the first time in months. By week 8, I had people I could call. By week 12, I had a tribe. And the depression that I thought was permanent started to lift, not because my brain chemistry changed, because my life changed. This is the intervention that works faster than pills. It's reconnection. Reconnection to people, to purpose, to the natural world, to values that actually matter. The Cambodian rice farmer didn't need Prozac, he needed a cow. Lisa Cunningham didn't need a higher dose of antidepressants, she needed a garden and a group. And you don't need to be fixed. You need to rebuild the parts of your life that have been destroyed by loneliness, meaningless work, and a culture that tells you your worth is your net worth. When you combine all 3 steps, identify your unmet need, take one action to address it, and commit for 30 days. This is how men break free from depression, not by medicating the signal, by answering it, not by pretending everything is fine, by changing everything that isn't. This is how you rebuild a life worth living, not just surviving, thriving. Drop a comment. Which of the 9 causes hit hardest for you? Loneliness, meaningless work, disconnection from nature, or something else? And which strategy are you starting with this week? Well, that's it. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. If you found it helpful, please be sure to give it a like and maybe even subscribe to Deeper Dudes. And hit the notification bell so you don't miss any new videos. It all helps the channel more than you know, and it also tells us that we should make more content like this. We post videos every other day that tackle real challenges men face. Remember, struggling doesn't make you weak, it makes you human. The fact that you took time to watch this means you're ready for something better. Thanks again for watching and for checking out all the amazing products in the description below. They could jumpstart your healing journey. Catch you in the next one, Deeper Dudes. Until then, keep learning, keep growing, keep thriving.